Welcome to the UFC Belgrade reaction show. KJ, right off the bat, what are your first thoughts on the card?
I mean, like I said, a lot of finishes. That's what we're looking for, right? But I would have liked to see some more exciting fights, preferably ones where we picked the right winner. A lot of those Serbian guys were losing. Obviously, they ended the night with a big W, but not a terrible card. I mean, much better than anything I see out of like Abu Dhabi, but nothing real exciting. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we got a ton of finishes. I think it broke the record for the most first round finishes. There was 14 fights, so I think it had more chances than most cards. But I think you mentioned it when we were talking earlier. Not a ton of great fights overall, just a lot of finishes. So I don't hate it. I had fun watching it. From the very beginning. So I had fun watching it. It was a better watch than last week for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. I kind of wish we took even the girl fights, right? Because those started off kind of electric. First three fights, all first rounds. Got to give it to them. I had no idea who any of those four girls were, but a couple big wins even there. I don't know. A lot of finishes. Like I said,
Yeah, you
didn't
got
hate to see it.
no. I'll give him credit. Stephanie Luciano got the first round sub. She looked good. That's her second straight sub, so she's gotten two straight finishes. And then Nina Milicic, she got the first round knockout. If more women's fights were like that, I think we would be more excited to cover it. But those were both pretty quick and good fights. And then Jovan Lika, who was about 50 pounds bigger than Alexander Propik, got the first round knockout as well.
Yeah, I mean, we both kind of saw that. I kind of, again, I wish unit sizes were adjusted a little bit for this one. That was one I think we both felt really good in. There's a couple others that we felt really good about. But yeah, I mean, some surprises. I didn't see like Jan getting destroyed the way he did. I didn't see a couple of those finishes going the way they did. But yeah, all in all, I wasn't disappointed, especially for an early card.
No, let's actually start now. We talked about the first three fights of the night, but let's start at the top of the card with the main event where Uros Medic got the first round knockout. Looked really good. I think it was a 30-second fight. I don't even know if Rodriguez looked bad. He just got caught, and that's kind of what Medic can do. He can just kind of put people's lights out.
Yeah, I mean, I was hearing a lot about the real unique training that Rodriguez was doing for this one. Like he had some hookups in prison in Tijuana, and he was building his own, like punching bags and whatnot. So, I mean, he looked tough on the scale yesterday. I don't know if you saw him. Rodriguez didn't look great. I mean, coming off that kind of layoff, and he's only been out of prison for a few months. So I wasn't expecting a ton. Did I think Medic would go out and finish him that fast? No. But that's what Medic does, right? I mean, he's proven to be a finisher. He's a knockout artist. And that fight went kind of right like we thought it would. Maybe not as quick, but that's how we saw it ending.
Yeah, and sign me up to watch a Medic fight any day of the week. He always his fights very rarely leave the first round. The co-main event of the night also did not leave the first round, and that was one where I was very wrong. I am not a Navajo Sterling fan, but he looked good tonight. Caught Jan and put him out early, about 3 minutes into that first round.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we knocked Sterling saying he starts really slow. Well, apparently that was one fight because he came out electric. Jan, he looked old in there. But even at that, I mean, I don't, he's fought like Alberg and all these crazy strikers. No one's been able to just absolutely dismantle him that way. So Sterling got my respect back. Kind of feel silly being as confident I was in what I thought was a really almost disrespectful line, but clearly Vegas knew what they were doing with that one.
Yeah, and it makes me feel kind of stupid. I love betting against the older fighters, but I did not take the advantage of this. He was 15 years younger, and he looked 15 years younger. Jan, for the first time, I think really kind of showed his age, and it's kind of sad. I think for what Jan wants, I think his career is kind of over. I don't think he has really any shot to get back to that top level now, and he's 43. So it's like, where does he go from here?
Yeah, I mean, at that age, man, it's so hard to like get back into like the title picture. He came in, I think, at like number four, but I'd like to see him go out kind of on top. I think he deserves it. Maybe find him a fight that kind of matches his style a little bit more. Maybe not someone that's that young and fresh, but I'd like to see him get in there maybe one more time. But he's had a great career. I think it's kind of plateaued.
Yeah, well, maybe they can give him the winner of the Ray Kick versus Marcin Tybura fight, because this was the snoozer of the night. Alexander got the win, but it was not a very exciting fight to watch overall.
No, I mean that fight was absolutely atrocious. Let's be honest. Nothing about like Rakic came in there. He for a minute I was like, okay, it looks like he's gonna put it on him, but he got tired and it felt like he wasn't even doing a ton. But the third round, he was basically just laying on him up against the cage, just hoping for the fight to end. That's someone I'll definitely be putting an asterisk next to because I think he's gonna get knocked out in his next fight. Tabora's old; he couldn't take advantage of it. He's someone I'd like to see kind of go away too. Not saying he hasn't been around in a while, had a good career, but he's done. But Rakic, I think he's not going to make any waves.
No, yeah, yeah. Tybor is 40, and another one where I feel dumb for betting on him. I know it was kind of a flyer at 6-1 to win inside the distance, but after that first round, there was very little chance he was finishing that fight. He just didn't look like he was fast enough to catch him. But you had a decent read on this next fight. It was Robert Valentine getting the first round sub against Dusko Todorovic, who you correctly said you just do not think is very good.
Yeah, and I mean, I still don't. He clearly has like some funky stuff on the ground. Not a terrible grappler, but he was just outskilled, outmatched, and just the speed advantage and just the electricity was coming from the other side. I kind of saw that one going that way. I was surprised the line was as close as it was. Another one that I wish I kind of hammered a little bit more, but. I just don't think Dusko's good. I don't know how much that displays Valentine's skill. It was good to see him get him out of there, but I just don't think Dusko's very good.
No, and a guy I did not think was very good, Gilbert Urbina, got the first round KO against Vlasto Seppo. It was a 10-unit swing for me, so it was very hard to see. But at least my guy went out on his shield, just going absolutely crazy, no defense at all, and at least went for the KO. So I was happy he at least went for it. But Urbina got the win and looked decent at 180 for the first fight.
He looked great. He was one of a couple people I did not see looking as sharp as they did. I'm sure we'll get to the next one pretty soon. But yeah, Urbina was hitting hard in there. It looked real good. That's a Mexican that I definitely disrespected, and he crushed one of my parlays, so I appreciate him doing that.
Yeah, and I looked right after the fight. It was like hindsight 2020. I knew I had written this down. I looked at my notes on him, and I said he did drop Medic in that last fight. He's not terrible. I was like, there is a chance he just knocks this guy out who's fighting his first fight in the UFC. And of course, I just ignored those notes, and just because I did not think, I didn't truly believe that, but it's like watching old fights. You can pick up something, and he being able to drop Medic, I guess, showed that he's a decent striker, because he's a serious striker for sure.
Yeah, he looked great. I mean, there's nothing else you can really say. He looked phenomenal in there.
Yeah, and the next fight, the guy I think probably looked the worst of anyone tonight, Milos Janicic. Just not a great performance against Noah Grognon.
No, I mean, obviously we had some funky stuff going on with his legs, but whether it was him throwing the kick or getting kicked, I mean, if it's hard for me to blame someone like that because I'm just not really as well versed, and I've never really felt that, whether it being from him getting kicked or kicking someone else. I don't really have that type of striking background, but I don't know. That was not the fight we were looking for. I had a lot of high hopes from him coming in with a ton of finishes, but that was not good.
No, and I actually the French kid looked pretty good, Noah Grognon. I mean, he was aggressive, and that's 10 wins for him now and 10 finishes. So somewhat exciting prospect. I'll be excited to watch his next fight, see who they give him. I could with a fight that quick, maybe they give him a quick turnaround and put him on that Paris card.
I would think so. I mean, he finished, like you said, finished it really quick. I don't think we really saw him display a bunch either. Like I said, whether it was him defending the kick that caused the injury or him throwing a leg kick that caused it, might have been a mixture of both. But we didn't see a ton out of him either. I think he deserves another opportunity to show what he's got, though. And I don't think a quick turnaround would really bother him. He didn't break a sweat out there.
No, I don't think he really took any damage at all. Someone who took a decent amount of damage tonight was Ludovic Klein, who got KO'd by Tovik Musayev, and he looked really good. This was one where I thought it was a coin flip fight, and the odds didn't really show that. So I thought the odds just kind of made the choice for me. But Tofik looked like the much better fighter after watching that one.
Yeah, like you just said it. Yeah, that was another fight. I didn't see going that way. A lot of these ones just surprised me, and this was kind of like one of the first fights where I was like, okay, we're going in a different direction here. That was another one that just kind of puzzled me. I didn't see that coming, right? Like a lot of the tape that we've seen on some of these guys, good or bad, I was not prepared for, and that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, we've only seen him 3 times in the UFC, but I think that was definitely the best he's looked. He's 36. I was surprised when I looked at that. I had forgotten he was so old. I thought he might be a younger prospect to be pretty excited about, but at 36, he's still pretty exciting, but just not the long future you would hope for. This guy's going to have a very long future from the next fight. Michael Oliveira, who absolutely just put Oban Elliott to sleep. And we very correctly called that one.
Yeah, no, that was one that I'm happy that you posted because yeah, I mean we
You
called
there?
that one right. A great prospect coming out of the contender series. Not a ton on him in like any type of big stage, but he looked great. Man, he has some absolute power, and I will be looking forward to him fighting again. Him and your boy Pinas. They uh they got a future, a bright one.
Yeah. I like his call out too. The what's it? Chidi, who just had Jeff Neal pull out in his fight 2 weeks from now. So I would love to see him get that fight and get right back in there. I mean, he got the knockout in a minute 49, didn't really take any damage at all. So I would love to see him right back in there.
I agree, absolutely.
And if he's right back in there, I'll tell you one thing: I will be betting the same thing for him to win by KO because he seems to have some unique power, and he looks the
Absolutely.
part too.
Yeah, I still can't believe that was getting plus money, but yeah, that was a great bet. But you spearheaded that one, so that's you.
Well, I mean, you were right on it, and it seemed like the obvious play, but sometimes the obvious plays like that one in the main event just are the obvious plays for a reason because that's how they play out. This next fight was a heartbreaker for me. It was Borislav Nikolic not being able to get the finish against Mark Vologdin. He beat the shit out of him for the last 2 rounds, but no finish. And Mark Vologdin, the little man, did not look great tonight.
No, but you know what? It's funny because as soon as he got into the cage, I'm like, oh, I remember this guy. Really hittable, but really durable. And like that, unfortunately, that's what he saw. He got absolutely trounced for 15 minutes, but just refused to go away. And I was just thinking of you the whole time, like, how does this guy not, whether it be knocked out or submitted, he just wouldn't leave. So that was a tough one. Any other situation, that person's typically being finished, but he just couldn't get him out of there. Hats off to
No,
Vologden, the little guy.
yeah, he looked rough leaving the octagon. He really got beat up, but credit to him for being able to to withstand that beating because I know a lot of guys would not have and would have tapped multiple times and would have not even got up from the ground and pound he was getting in that 3rd round.
Absolutely.
Bogdan Grad coming out with blonde hair all of a sudden, looking like a completely new fighter, and got the sub, and that was in round 2. But kind of a controversial call whether Bazooka tapped or not. I don't fault the ref for making that call. It was close enough to where it kind of looked like a tap. I don't think I would have called it, but you give the ref a chance. You can't really blame him.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest, even if he hadn't tapped there, it didn't look like he was doing a good job. Like he claimed that that tap was him trying to defend the submission, but once Grad had kind of cleared the body where he was, like he was gonna inevitably get that submission anyway. So, was it early? Yes. Do I think it really mattered? No. Was I on the other side? Did I think Bazooka had a chance? Yes. And I think Garad really slowed down because he was putting it on him in the first round, but all those takedowns, everything he was throwing at him, it wears on you. But it looked like the tides might have turned, but then Grad was able to get it back to the ground and get him out of there. So, you know, on the wrong side of that one, but that was going to be Grad's victory, in my opinion, one way or another.
I agree. I was hoping a little bit if he was able to withstand that choke, that Grad just was going to be completely gassed in the third and was going to be able to get finished, but we did not get to see that. And my worst read of the night was that my man Kyle Prepelek was not that bad and was going to put up a good fight against Matthias Rebecki, and he did not. He got absolutely pounded for almost a full round of ground and pound. But it was an ugly fight, and Rebecki looked pretty good overall.
Yeah, it's funny because yeah, Rubeski looked great. I'm not going to take that away from me. He looked great. He clearly was just the better fighter in there, and the way we saw the lines really shifting to kind of being like almost 6-1, like crazy odds. Where I didn't blame you for being on the other side, but we're just comparing like your guy and that you took in that one versus like a Vologden. That was like really what should have happened in that Vologden fight. Like Preplik kind of looked for his way out of there. He was just getting hammered. I don't blame him for kind of giving up and kind of giving the ref that look like, what are you doing not stopping this? But yeah, Rebeski looked good. There was a few Polish fighters tonight. Obviously, Jan didn't get it done, but Rebeski looked good. So he's back in the W column. Good for him. I like watching him fight, whether he's winning or losing. So I'm looking forward to him getting back in there.
Yeah, and he went through Prepelec way easier than Drew Dober or BSD did. So he's had some tough losses, but he's only 33. He's an exciting fighter. So hopefully he can get a little run going because I do like watching him.
Yeah, I agree.
We covered the first three fights, so that's all the fights for the night. Pretty good card. I thought the crowd might be a little crazier overall. It was a very good crowd. I think I had a little too high of expectations, but we got to see some flares, and even though they had some disappointment with the hometown guys, it was a fun day.
Yeah, if 10 out of 12 fights don't see scorecards, it's hard to complain about it. Like I said, I would have liked to see a little bit more back and forth, a little bit more excitement. Most of the fights were very one-sided, but again, give me 10 out of 12 finishes every week and I'm not going to complain.
So before we go, I want to ask you three questions on who you would match these guys up with next, and just on based on who do you think would be the most fun fight they can have right now? Not necessarily what you think they will do. What do you think with Michael Oliveira? Who do you think would be a fun matchup for him at 170?
So, Oliveira 170 right outside the top 15. I'd like to see him fight. I'd like to see, someone who's like another striker. I'd like to see him against someone young. I don't know, filibuster for me. Do you got anyone you have in mind? I got a few names spinning through my head, but I'm trying to dial it in. You like anyone in particular?
Honestly, what I think would be an absolutely electric matchup, and this kind of would steals and my next question for you was, I think him versus Uros Medic would be an absolute banger of a fight. I actually know I would love Oliveira in that fight, just the way that I've seen Medic get touched. But that's one where either guy can knock the other one out at any point. I don't think that's what they will do, but that I think stylistically that is just an awesome, fun matchup.
I agree. I wouldn't hate seeing that. I wouldn't hate seeing Pedersen from last week, the one that just knocked out
Oh,
Ponzinibbio. I think that might be a fun
Yeah,
matchup.
that's actually a really fun matchup.
Yeah, but even I know he kind of swings back from like 70 to 85. Maybe give him a gatekeeper, like maybe not precisely like a Kevin Holland, but someone like that, someone that'll like really test, has been around a while and can really gauge like where you stand. So that's the kind of fight I see him having. I think Medic might be too much of a jump up, and especially with Medic being on the win streak he's in, I don't know if that it would benefit him as much taking, a newcomer that seems like a lot of risk where he I think will fight someone from the top 15 next. But I don't know. There's a lot of fun fights for him. Like I said, I just want to see someone that's exciting. I don't want to see someone that could potentially just like lay on him if he would even allow that. Just keep him away from a wrestler for now. Let's see a little bit more excitement before we really test how well rounded he is. Let's see another banger.
I completely agree. I was just looking at the top 15 and I was looking at Sean Brady and Belio Muhammad. I was just like, keep him away for those guys for right now, even though I think he can knock anyone out. But I was looking just at the top. These are not realistic matchups, but if he gets another quick first round knockout, he's one fight away from a matchup like Carlos Prates or Michael Morales, where just like all of a sudden he's in a main event, just real exciting matchup.
Yeah, so I like those names, but I think it would be have to be them coming off a loss, right? They're just outside the title picture right now. So I don't know that we could throw Oliveira there yet, but if one of them loses and things just kind of match up, I think those would be two super fun matchups.
Yeah, I agree. Those guys have no incentive to fight those guys. They're right outside a title matchup. I'm just looking at like what would be fun. I was looking
Yeah.
at Jack Della Maddalena, who's coming off a couple losses. That almost seems mean to give him that matchup next. But I mean, at some point, if he wants to stay at the top of the division, he's going to have to be able to beat guys like that. So very interesting division at 170 is overall. There's just a ton of killers. You got Gabriel Bonfim, Morales, Sean Brady's a couple wins. You got the Islam versus Ian Machado Gary fight coming up in a couple weeks. So that's a really fun division. The welterweight division is right now.
I agree.
Moving to a different division though, the light heavyweight division. What do you think is next for our guy Navajo Sterling?
Dude, that division kind of stinks, right? So like I think he's already right there. It seems like Ankalaev's gonna get the next title fight. I would honestly, I think that'd be a great first 205 fight for Chimaev. Like, let's really just crank things up. Let's get Chimaev up at 205 from 185. Sterling's coming in there red hot, just beat a former champ. I think that tests both of them perfect.
Yeah, I think that's a decent matchup. You could do Yuri in him, but I agree with you. There's not a whole lot of fights to make. Paul Acosta, there's just not really that many people to match him up with yet, especially since him and Carlos Ulberg trained together, and I don't think they're gonna
Exactly.
fight either. Which I don't think he
No.
deserves the next title fight, but you take like one of five interesting matchups away from him at the top of the 205 division. I think a sneaky interesting matchup for him next would be Dominic Reyes.
That's a good one. I like that a lot. And we're gonna
I
get two guys that strike. So I like that. And Reyes is another one. I mean, arguably beat John Jones, but he's been around a while. I don't hate that.
No, all right. Well, I will let you go. Or actually, do you have a fight that you'd like to see Medic yet? You said someone up in the towards that top five area. Any names stick out to you?
Yeah, I mean that is like a top five, top 10. I hate watching like a Bilal Muhammad fight, but someone are like that. Like, you know what? I think it's time to test him. He might be someone that should probably fight like a Sean Brady or something like that next.
Exactly where I was going to go. Sean Brady. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. So I like him fighting either Sean Brady or like Buckley. I don't hate that matchup either. Him and Joaquin Buckley, someone in that zone though.
I completely agree. I think that's a good test for each of Sean Brady, and test Brady's stand up and test see if Medic can last in there with an elite grappler like Brady. So I like
Yeah,
that matchmaking there. But I will let you go. Thanks for jumping on, and we
absolutely.
will jump back on this week for another card. I looked and it's somewhat refreshing. It should be a much easier card to prepare for next week.
Bring us back to the apex, baby. Back to America. Let's go.